All right, welcome everybody back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We are on the road course tonight for round 4 of the Flux Motorsport 2021 Season 3, the 5th season of Flux competition in the Flux Sports Car Championships. 2 races tonight, starting off with the GTE class. That'll be followed at 9 p.m. Eastern with the LMP2 class here in the Flux Sports Car Championships. I'm your host tonight, Carlin Hicks, and we are smack dab mid-season at the most famous racing circuit in the world, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but we are on the challenging road course here for tonight's battle in the GTE class. Round 4 of 8 in the championship. We've got 3 in the books, and we're going to run you through all of those here and get myself out of the car and up into the timing pylon. As these high horsepower GT cars prepare for a showdown here at Indianapolis. First 3 rounds of the championship have been very exciting. It is still very close. Heading into the mid-season point, we will of course be at the mid-season point after this race, and looking for just for another competitive race. The GTEs have brought it every week. We're going to give you a bit of a season review. As always, a 20-minute qualifying session will be followed by a 45-minute championship event. Go ahead and pull up our broadcast here. Myself in line. So as always, these guys just getting going here. 20 minutes to qualify, practice the cars up, and it's going to be important. This is a very important track. About 2.6, a little more than 2.5 miles here on this unique speedway that includes a drag strip, part of the oval section, some very tight corners here on what is really hallowed ground for racing in North America and indeed the entire world. Get you a track walk here at some point, but as always, GTE often a Ford versus Chevy battle. We've seen Bruce Law come in with the Aston Martin this year and start to make it interesting, but 2 great races tonight at the Brickyard, followed up after this one, as I said, with the LMP2 class, so we're looking forward to that. But let's go ahead and give you a rundown through how the championship looks through 3 rounds of 8 in the championship. The points leader, Bruce Law, came in 85 points. He did not make the trip here to Indianapolis this week, so he will be falling out of the points lead. And that'll bring us to this man in the egg melt Corvette number 5, the reigning class champion here in the GTEs from Flux Season 4, and that is NZ Jack. Jack, as you guessed, a driver from New Zealand. Great season in the 4th season of Flux. A campaign ago here in these GTE cars. Taking home the title last season. Sorry, getting my notes together. Been very consistent so far. Came in 7 points back in 2nd place, and if he tops the chart today, then you're looking at a guy who's going to be back on the top of the point standings. We look at what Jack's season has looked like so far, and it's been pretty good. He got into that big crash at Daytona in the season opener, took the pole in the opener at Daytona, then got in that big crash coming into turn 1. He had to limp it around with a recovery drive to 10th place, so did not have the day that he was hoping to have there. But he followed it up with a big win at Willow Springs in round 2. really had an excellent performance at Willow Springs, took the pole there as well, and got the win, and then came through last week and won, well, his third straight pole position. So he's got all 3 poles in 3 races this season, but wound up finishing second. Looks like something up with the points table here. I'll have to get that checked out. Only got 2 listed winners. I do not have a listed winner for Long Beach, and we know, in fact, there was one because we were there broadcasting the race. Oddly enough, it's listing Jack as second and Taijo as second, but I know that's not right. I believe Jack won. I'll have to get a ruling on that. Anyway, still be in the points lead narrowly either way. Get that looked at in the scoring, but either way, Jack, as he loops it there in turn 1, trying to push for a little speed, brings it back in, currently at the top of the charts, but still very early, as we've got pretty much the same weather conditions we had last night for the Indy cars here on the oval. 60-degree ambient temperature here in October. It's a cool track, 53-degree track temperature, and that's even with the fact that we have pretty clear skies. I mean, a little bit of cloud cover, but you know, nothing that's going to drop the track temperature on its own. But nonetheless, looking to see if those times will come down, especially when the rubber gets laid down. All right, folks, third in the points is Pogo Mojo, another one of our Corvette campaigners, an American driver, the Alvastor number 39 Corvette privateer entry. Pogo coming in, the veteran driver coming in third in the championship, just 8 points back. His results for the season: third place to kick off the season at Daytona, very solid performance, then followed it up with a second place at Willow Springs, so back-to-back podiums for Pogo. Did not have the race he wanted to, managed to get it home in 6th place at Long Beach, but that leaves him third in the championship. Pogo, a longtime veteran driver, multi-discipline. We're talking sports cars, open wheel, stock cars, rally cars, you name it. But he has had a propensity for getting involved in things of his and not his making. As you see that huge crowd here at the world famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway, McToasty just putting up a new fastest lap here. We'll get to him momentarily. The Pogo coming in just 1 point behind Jack in our official point standings, which may be actually about 6 points, as we see Pogo losing it there in a very difficult section. But he's got a very real shot here this week of making a move. If he can qualify high up and keep his car clean, we might have something for him. All right, moving on to the first of the Ford GT drivers, the Ganassi number 69 Ford. That is Taijo, the Flux Season 4 IndyCar champion. And he comes into this race just 10 points off the points lead in what is a very, very tight season, as he has been the lead guy over the 3 seasons of GTE competition. He has been the Ford's, he and Muttley have been the Ford standard bearers, although Taijo does it from the Ganassi stable. Comes into this race, as I said, 4th in the point standings. His season so far has looked as follows. Only had a 7th place run at Daytona. I think he felt that his Ford was not suited to that track, although I believe he may have gotten caught up in an incident or two. Recovered, however, to get back on the podium with a 3rd place run at Willow Springs a week later, and then last week moved up even more into 2nd with a 2nd place run at Long Beach. And I believe NZ Jack was the winner of that race, actually. Taijo has won in these cars before. Matter of fact, he has 3 career wins in the Flux Sports Car Championships. I believe all 3 of those wins coming in the GTE class. And this is a guy who, with 2 podiums in a row coming into this race, you got to believe that he's feeling pretty strong about where he's at. We'll be going back to Australian driver, the lone Ferrari in the field, if I'm not mistaken, and that is the Australian Mark C, coming in here 5th in the points. A little bit of a gap from 4th to 5th. He's 30 points back from the championship leader through the first 3 rounds. Mark, the lone Ferrari, entered here in the Flux Sports Car Championships GTE class this season. He is fresh off his best career finish in the Flux Indy cars last night, right here on the speedway, as he finished 2nd in the Indianapolis race an evening ago. Had a very real shot at winning it too, going up towards the finish. But Mark coming in here, we're going to take a look at his results here momentarily, as we're just past the halfway point here in qualifying. But we're going to take a look at Mark's results for the season so far. He began it with a top 5, 5th place run at Daytona, which I believe he was pretty happy with. Had less luck with 8th place at Willow Springs and a 7th at Long Beach. Consistency alone has kept him up into the top 5, but he does not have a very sizable lead on the guys behind him, and that begins with veteran driver OGR Cat Guy, fresh off a 4th place run in the Indy cars last night, driver of the number 3 factory Corvette. Cat Guy coming in here despite that success, just 1 career win in the Flux Sports Car Championships here in these GTE cars in 3 seasons of competition. However, he comes in here 6th in the points, 32 off the lead. That is by no means out of it with 5 rounds to go. But he's going to need to pick up the results, no doubt. His performance so far this season began very strong. Cat Guy got a 2nd place run behind Bruce Law at Daytona to start the season, getting back on the podium. He followed it up with a 5th place finish at Willow Springs on that difficult track in the desert. But engine trouble struck at Long Beach and a blown motor. He's going to hope that that Corvette racing program has that car together here tonight, because you really can't afford another DNF like he got last week at Long Beach. So we'll need to wait and see where that goes for him. All right, 7th in the championship, and currently just pulling out of the garage is Survivor, who I believe just freshly switched to a Ford this season, the number 15 Ford GT. And Survivor coming in 7th in the points, also 32 points back. And a quick look at Survivor's results this season showed that, I don't think right off the bat, got the feel of the Ford. Just 9th place at Daytona and 9th place at Willow Springs. But last week, he got his first podium of the season, finishing 3rd here on the tough streets of Long Beach in that Ford. So maybe he started to pull that thing together. He's going to need to get a little more speed in qualifying here to get closer to the leaders. But right now, that performance at Long Beach has to give him confidence. Still looking for that first career win in the series, but maybe this could be a Ford track. You don't know. All right, 8th in the championship is the longtime Australian veteran and driver of the number 8 factory Ford GT. That is Muttley. Muttley unfortunately couldn't make it in time to run the Indy cars last night, but he is back here for the Flux Sports Car Championships. Currently not really got that car up to speed in qualifying, and has had a bit of a rough go this season for Muttley. 8th place at Daytona, 7th at Willow Springs, and 8th at Long Beach. Has not been able to push that thing up towards the top 5. And I believe he does have a little factory support, a little bit going on there with Ty Joe and perhaps Survivor even. But Muttley is a grinder. Where he starts does not really reflect where he finishes. I know he'd like to be farther up. But I got to be interested to see how the Fords do here. This is a tight, flat track. We're going to get some track walk time on it later on and show you the two long straightaways that make up this unique course here. And I say the more the merrier. Tracks like this are very interesting. Not everybody likes to run on the same European GP circuits all the time, and or for that matter, the natural terrain road courses here in the States. And Indianapolis presents a unique challenge. You've got to have the car set up, as we talk about at Daytona. You've got two different types of running that you have to set up for, and that little bit of banking that they run on in a couple of sections there can put some load on the tire. Anybody questioning that, I believe it was 2005 US Grand Prix, when a tire manufacturer isn't prepared for that. But as I said, right now Muttley looking to get something out of it. Came in a green game and watching, though he's watching, unable to put together the sponsorship money to get here. 9th in the championship. We'll look to see him back soon. And 10th in the championship, our driver, it says he's South African. I believe that's correct. He hasn't corrected me in the broadcast yet. In the privateer number 24 GT, that's Stoltz. And Stoltz so far, 10th in the championship, has had a bit of a rough season so far. 11th at Daytona, 12th at Willow Springs, 9th at Long Beach to get his first top 10. He really needs, he's had some pace at times, I think, just putting it together a whole race. And I've been on track with the guy. He's got some wheel skills. It's just a matter of time before he starts picking up the pace. This is some very tough competition. Take a look at some of the other guys in the field. Currently third, just piddling. He is 11th in the championship. We'll get back to him a little later. Dirt Rally Pro comes in running on a part-time schedule. He comes in 12th in the championship, driving in a Ford GT. Super Crusher not here this week. A little bit surprised to see that. He's 13th in the championship, 14th Cracked Piston, 15th Hoffman, and 16th O'Brien. A lot of no-shows here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Trouble getting the sponsorship money together, but nonetheless a tough 11-car field. And at the moment, it's the Caporal Corvette of McToasty who is leading the way. McToasty, as we said, a lot of success in Indy cars with 4 career IndyCar wins, but according to my numbers here, does not have a sports car victory yet. I did believe he got the first. Yes, he did get his first last week. That was, however, in the LMP2 cars. I need to make a correction to my notes there. So McToasty got the win last week at Long Beach, but that was in the LMP2 cars for his first career sports car victory. And he'll look for his second here today and his first in the GTEs. And right now, only car in the 120s with that bed. I believe he's still running hot. Let's pick him up as he comes down the front stretch. Take a look at this track. Fast down the front stretch, and then it's hard braking into a very sharp turn 1 right there. Got to keep it off the curbs. A little bit off camber through turn 2 going back. Can't overcorrect it. You can see him being nice and smooth there. Coming through the 3 section and into 4 and 5. Once again, it's totally flat. We'll get a lot of debris and dirt on that track. Quick chicane, and now it's the drag strip. You're going to build up as much speed as you can. This is a very good passing zone here. But you got to get hard on the brakes right about here. And this can be a tough corner. You catch too much curb, it'll spin you. You go too wide, you'll catch the grass. You can hear him burping the throttle through there. This is not a flat out section. And then it's back. As you're working your way back towards the oval section, you've got that quick little hairpin quickly onto the banking, and then it's hard onto the brakes all the way down, second gear, first gear for some guys, into that hairpin, now back to another switchback, and that would bring you back to the final turn to the right and onto the banking. But McToasty's bringing us into the pits. But that is a lap at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. NZ Jack just 2/10 off his time in his Corvette, and those bonus points are going to be absolutely vital coming down the stretch this season. Make no bones about it, especially since it's a part-time driver in McToasty, who's currently at the top of the charts. But as we said, he got that first Flux sports car victory a week ago in the LMP2s, which of course run later on tonight, but we'll see if he can get it done in the GTE today. Right now, he is at the top of the chart. Currently have McToasty topping the chart, NZ Jack second, Just Piddlin third, Pogo's in fourth, and Taijo's in fifth. Dirt Rally's put together a good lap to move his Ford up into the sixth place spot. This is a very tough track to pass on. Very tight corners. You can get it done on the two straightaways for sure. That's the best way to do it. Stay close coming out of the final turn and out of the turn 4 or 5 chicane as you head onto the drag strip. Pull up beside the guy and outbrake him into the corner. A lot of trouble can be found on those sections. However, you've got to be very careful because, as I said, I have a theory about any type of alternate layout courses. It doesn't have to be one that's a roval. It can be when you're talking about when you're talking about alternate layouts, like at a Suzuka or a Silverstone or something like that. And when you're on an alternate layout, there's always a lot of debris in those alternate turns. The track is actually designed with the main layout in mind as the primary consideration, so you get some weird things, and that's exactly what you see here at the Brickyard. Some very tight corners, very difficult corners. All right, and we have reached the end of qualifying here in the Season 5 Flux Motorsport Sports Car Championship, the GTE class race. And here is your starting order for tonight's round 4 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. McToasty coming in on a part-time ride and picks up the pole with a blistering 120.864. He will be trailed by the current points leader, effectively coming in second in the points, NZ Jack, the reigning class champion from a season ago, will be starting second. Just Piddlin will be right behind him. He's in third in his Corvette. Corvette sweeping the top 3. The top running Ford, Taijo, will be starting fourth. Pogo Mojo in his Corvette will be fifth. Dirt Rally Pro's got a Ford GT starting sixth. It's the factory Corvette of Cat Guy in seventh. Muttley's got his factory Ford GT in eighth. Survivor's got a Ford GT starting ninth. Mark C, fifth in the points, fifth in the points, has got his his Ferrari in 10th, and Stoltz has his Ford GT starting in 11th. So that is your starting lineup. They've got a couple of minutes to get all the repairs affected that they need. We got some of our viewers cheering in on the guys. Green Gaming checking in, Daz checking in, and yeah, you look at those Flux sports car stats through 5 seasons. There are some surprising guys who hadn't gotten into the win column yet. When you got guys like Bruce Law dominating and taking a lot of the wins, McToasty getting that first one in the LMP2s last week. We hope to see him in that race later as well. But let me get myself into the tower here for you guys. Marshall's making the decision here to use a single file start after a formation lap here at the Brickyard this week, and appears to be a smart move. As far as how these tracks roll, using the rolling start here in the States. And when you give a driver like McToasty a clean track like that, he might be able to pull out and make this quite a bit interesting. But these 11 cars are going to be looking to catapult themselves. It's just the 4th round of 8. So these next few rounds here, next week at Watkins Glen, round 6 at Road America, really going to make or break who's going to win this Flux GTE championship in the Flux Sports Car Championship. All right, as I said, they are going to have a parade lap. Take a look at driver stats here. Set our 3 winners. Bruce Law with the win at Daytona. Jack NZ at Willow Springs, and then I thought that he followed it up. It doesn't say it here in my docs, but I believe he followed it up with a second in a row at Long Beach last week. I have to check. I broadcast a lot of races. I tend to forget, but I thought that he did win a second in a row last week to get another career victory. He is the reigning Flux GTE champion from season 4, and we'll look to see if he can challenge McToasty as 3 vets, 1, 2, 3 to start. These guys on a formation lap. They're going to be starting single file here as soon as you see those lights rolling start here when the races are in the U.S. Guys we look to see coming up towards the back. Cat Guy only getting back into 7th. He's known to be a mover. Mark C in that Ferrari back in 10th. Definitely a guy we'd look to see move. Maybe even Survivor in that Ford running in 9th. Pogo back in 5th. Still looking for that first career win in the Flux Sports Car Championships. Could be his day. He's got a lot of miles on this track. Knows his way around here. But as these guys work through the technicals, they're going to start closing in towards the end of the lap. And McToasty, just a smooth driver. You guys saw it last week here on Flux TV in the LMP2 class race last weekend at Long Beach. He just took the car to the lead and paced the guys behind him. Up onto that banking. All right, we're about to get going. Round 4 of the Flux Sports Car Championship, Season 5 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The GTE class just about set to go. McToasty going to be bringing them off. They're starting to close in now. And this ought to be a good one here. Proud to have one career win on this course in sports cars, and that cracked piston got it a little late, but they are off. Start to fan out here just a little bit. Looks like McToasty's held it. Just piddling, going side by side with Jack. He's trying to get the inside line. I think he did. Just piddling with a good move. Pulls up inside of Jack and takes over second place. Ty Joe maintains third with Pogo right behind him as they battle. This is, as I say, always the time to get on our chase cam with our Flux TV's world's fastest drone. We'll take a look at Ty Joe as he's pressuring Jack. Not a great start for the reigning GTE champion. Nonetheless, he's still holding on to third, but he's got Ty Joe all over him in that Ford GT, just trying to get these cars into a bit of a rhythm. Comes Cat Guy. He's looking to put a move on Pogo. Two old veterans right there. Know each other's tricks very well. Let's see if Pogo's going to get to the inside. No, Cat Guy gets to the inside. No, he thinks twice. But Pogo hits the wall, and that little wall kiss cost him a position, so he falls back. We got Dirt Rally right behind him. Muttley's right behind him. They are still in one big long line. So let's check out what's going on up front as 1 and 2 have broken out, as you expect with the traffic here. They get a bit of a gap as these guys try to sort each other out, as McToasty and Just Piddlin have broken away to 1-2, and then there's a long line of cars behind them. And with that, McToasty gets up onto the curb, and I believe he's going to give up the lead here to Just Piddlin on lap 2. So Just Piddlin, coming from third place on the starting grid, takes second on the first lap, takes the lead on the second lap, and just like that, the McCool Chevy Corvette of Just Piddlin has shot to the lead. This is a guy still looking for his first career win, I believe, in the Flux Sports Car Championships. Yes, he is. Another guy still looking to get that first win. So, been good this season, or had his moments in the Indy cars for sure, but has had a rough time here in the GTEs. Meanwhile, he's shot out to a lead and has a little bit of a gap. Let's get back, however, battle for third place. NZ Jack has Ty Joe all over his tail, with Cat Guy not far behind him since he made it past Pogo. We'll look to see if Pogo's car is okay after kissing the wall. These guys, of course, we've seen the strategy week after week. They're going to try to go the 45 minutes on the tank of fuel and the set of tires Tank of fuel shouldn't be a problem unless there's a miscalculation, but you have to take care of those tires, especially a track like this. Indianapolis is very abrasive to the tires, so you need to have something at the end, and we've seen guys come on strong at the end. We've seen guys sink like a stone at the end, so it takes a lot of patience to get there, and right now we're just in the early going, just the first few laps, first few minutes of this race. Matter of fact, let's get on board that Ford GT of Taijo in 4th place. Driver from the Philippines, the Flux Season 4 IndyCar champion. And as I said previously, 3 career wins here in the Flux Sports Car Championships. All of them in the GTE class. But if there's been an issue here in the sports cars for him, it's been consistency. Right now, he's just trailing the reigning champion, NZ Jack, up front. Looking to put it together here. Coming off the final turn, this is where you got to set it up. You got to be quick right here, and you can see him getting a little bit of aero push from the car in front of him, a little bit of aero understeer. And I don't think he's going to have the speed, even with the slipstream, coming down the straightaway to make the late braking maneuver here in turn 1. Now he wisely pulls back out of it, because right there, you'll lose a lot more trying to go crazy in that corner. But right now, these guys are fighting to stay in it. At the moment, Pogo back in 6th. He's under pressure from Dirt Rally, as Pogo started up in 4th. Or no, I'm sorry, started in 5th place. He kissed the wall there on lap 1, lost 5th. And now he's under pressure yet again. Muttley's not far behind them either. As they work through the technical section, still just trying to feel these cars out. It looks like we got somebody going inside there. Pogo, Dirt Rally made the move. Dirt Rally made the move, a little bit of contact between himself and Pogo there. Looks like it's okay, but that brought Muttley right on top of them, so 6, 7, and 8 are now right on top of each other. Battle for 3rd, meanwhile, still going on up there. And we're going to get a quick check-in. Oh, looks like we might have a shot at it. Is Taijo going to go for it this time? He tries to the outside. Looks like NZ Jack is going to defend on the inside, heading into this very difficult turn 1. I've raced on both of the layouts this road course has used, and in the old layout there was a big thing of tires right there on the inside. That was a much more dangerous spot. Jack, meanwhile, hanging on still, but these guys have lost considerable ground to these two up front. They're now 7.5 seconds back, as just Pidlin and McToasty, running in relatively clean air, are lapping about a second to a second and a half quicker. And they have opened up an early lead here in this one. But like I said, we got a long ways to go. This track can change quite a bit. It's a very cool track, so it's tough to tell what that's going to do to the tires. See if the track temperature comes up or down at any point. But while these two seem to be running their own race, the battle back here continues. 3, 4, and 5 are right on top of each other. Might be a good time to get a view inside of the factory Corvette of Cat Guy in 5th place. He's got NZ Jack and Taijo in front of him. Cat Guy started in 7th. He's moved up 2 positions since the start, and really just looking to be consistent here. As I said last week, Cat Guy does have 1 podium this season at Daytona, but after last week, where he DNF'd at Long Beach with a motor problem, he just wants another consistent finish. It's like we got Jack Davies checking in, or Jack the Menzies as we know him. Jack and Pogo look like they're on a harder tire, colder tire temps. That's entirely possible. We're not going to be able to tell that. It won't tell us here from the telemetry. But we'll check in with Pogo right now, running in 6th, as he's under pressure from Muttley and Dirt Rally still. But a lot, I would suspect they're all on hard tires or a combination thereof. I doubt there's a whole lot of people running all softs, although you never know. But I don't know, with the track temperature this cool, 54 degree track temperature, 60 degree ambient, you might have a few guys who thought I could make those. Bruce Law, I'm sorry, Jack. Gotcha. All different names. I wish everybody would line up their Discord name, their PSN name, and all that. It'd be a lot easier on the broadcasters. Nonetheless, good to see you checking in, Bruce Law. But yeah, very good point. Could be somebody tried the softs with track temperatures this cool. Could be somebody went with a staggered compound. Little bit of bump, and that's a big hit. And over goes Pogo. He got the slightest little touch. The slightest touch from Muttley going into the corner. It was barely even perceptible. But Dirt Rally came in on the tail end of it and really had nowhere to go. And Pogo's bad luck here in the GTEs continues, as he looks like he lost that rear wing. I don't think that that's something that you, even if that's the only damage, that's going to lose a lot of downforce on that car. And I seriously doubt he could stay out with that. So that was tough. He came into the corner. Muttley might have just barely touched him heading into the corner. It looked more like he lost it on acceleration going through, but I'm not in the cockpit. That little bump might have done more than it looked. But either way, he went around, and Dirt Rally was coming in and just T-boned him, probably doing a good 60, 70 miles an hour himself, and it sent Pogo up on his side. As you can see, took not only the rear wing off, it took the whole rear deck lid off of that car. So our driver, who came in today, 3rd place in the points championship with 2 podiums on the season, does not look like he's going to add to that here today, nor get that first career win, even if he can't keep that thing out. And he decided to skip the pit, so he's still driving without that rear, and it looks like Mark C might have lost. No, that's not Mark. Who is that in the red? I think that had to be Mark. No? I believe that might have been Survivor. No? He's still up there battling. We lost somebody went around. Either way, we'll check back in with Pogo and see if he can get that thing going. That thing's missing the whole. That's aerodynamic nightmare. It doesn't, not just the rear wing, it's missing the whole rear assembly, the whole rear glass, whole rear windshield is missing. So that thing's going to be a nightmare. Meanwhile, Just Piddlett's still in the lead. He's got Toasty right on his tail still, but there's an increasing gap. These guys are going 2.5 seconds or more faster than the second group behind them. Is that dirty air? Is that how hard these guys are battling? It's tough to tell, but we're still early on, just on to lap 9. Still 33 minutes plus left here in the GTE class event. And even for these guys far back, a good performance here, and they could get right back into this championship. And Z-Jack defending on Taijo. He sends Taijo all the way up to the wall. But these two going at it. Talking about drivers from the Asia Pacific region. It's Philippines versus New Zealand right there. And these guys have been battling in both Indy cars and GTE sports cars for 3 solid seasons now. Seen them go head-to-head, each of them with multiple career wins. I believe Jack with 4 career sports car wins and Taijo with 3. So both of these guys know what they're doing, but it looks like Taijo goes off onto the grass as he's under pressure now from Cat Guy in his factory Corvette. Cat Guy just being smooth, looking for his chance to make the move. Goes up to the inside. Is Cat Guy going to try to outbrake him here? I think he will. But he does not have the position for the switchback. Or does he have the position for the switchback? Yes, he does. Cat Guy gets it done through one of the toughest sections of the track to make a pass, and that's a veteran driver. Moves up into 4th place. Taijo falls back to 5th. Is going to have to regroup. Let's check back in the battle for 6th. where we've got Survivor and Dirt Rally. Survivor started 9th or 10th, I believe, and he has moved up here in that Ford GT as Dirt Rally fell back from the battle in front of him, and now these two going at it for 6th place. Still very early in this race. Justin Cutler has that corrected. That was a great move by Cat Guy to get into 4th place. We'll see what he has. I saw him dropping down into the 123s there, so maybe he can have something for him too. But Dirt Rally's looking for every which way he can get past Survivor here. Just can't seem to do it. Gets them onto the drag strip. He's not going to be close enough here, barring some type of kamikaze move. But a good drive from Survivor so far. And it looks like Pogo's hitting the pit lane. Hard luck for him. I know he's probably fuming in the car. I know we don't want to hear the words racing incident, but if there was a touch, it was the slightest touch from Muttley. And when he went around, Dirt Rally came in and really had no chance to react to it. He was probably trying to drive under the spin and avoid the car. But another hard luck situation for Pogo. 2 podiums on the season, but he has got to get back out here and try to get whatever he can, even if it's just 1 or 2 positions. Just get every point he can heading into Watkins Glen next weekend, the second half of the schedule. Up front now, just Piddlin's put himself a little bit of a gap. 2.1 seconds now on McToasty. This is a driver looking for his first career win in the Flux Sports Car Championships, and he's come close. I believe in an American driver driving a Corvette, a cool number 50. As we are about to hit the 30-minute mark, 1/3 of the way down. These cars are working right at the end of lap 11. That tells me we're going to do about 33, maybe 34 laps. So a pretty decent distance, around close to 100 miles. Probably around 90, 95 miles on this very tight circuit. And like I said, it's still early. Keeping the tires on these cars is going to be the absolute make or breaker here. But right now, 122, 123, they're just outpacing the guys behind them. And while it's not an insurmountable margin if they run into trouble right now, these two just got to kind of feel each other out. If I was in McToasty's shoes in his Corvette, let's take a look at the view from his cockpit. I would be managing the gap as long as I'm within a couple of seconds. You know, right about here is fine, where you're not really getting a whole lot of dirty air. You got a clean track in front of you. I would just be managing my tire wear and watching his car, managing the distance, want to see where I can possibly, where he's weak, where he's strong, where the split goes up, where the split goes down for those last 15 minutes of the race when you're going to start trying to make your move. But both of these guys know, both of them need a good finish. McToasty, being a part-timer, could get the full-time ride, would pick up those points. But just Piddlin needs to make up some ground, and he really has a chance to do so here today. And right now, these two are running their own race. Meanwhile, Jack, Cat Guy, and Ty Joe stuck 3, 4, 5 right there in the middle. You see Cat Guy, he is under constant pressure since he got by Ty Joe. And that is the consummate GTE battle. Chevy versus Ford. Corvette versus the Ford GT. Remind you to check us out at fluxmotorsport.com and to hang with us later on about a little more than a half an hour after the conclusion of this race at 9 p.m. Eastern, the second race of our Flux Sports Car Championships here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as the LMP2 class will be taken to the track here at the Brickyard. See some of these same racers in that race. Hope you tune in. Very tough. Ty Joe's trying to find the place to go, but Cat Guy is a crafty old vet. He's just holding his line, running smart. We haven't seen any timed penalties yet, which is a bit of a surprise considering some of the curves here. But at the moment, nobody's gotten flagged by the track marshals. That's always good to see. But Cat Guy has a look. He looks like that car I haven't seen him this racy in the GTEs in a while, and right now he's just looking like he's biding his time. We're a little bit short of halfway, probably about 3 laps short of halfway. And these three still at it. Meanwhile, Survivor and Dirt Rally, a pair of Fords, both of them going at it. They're running laps, which could get them up to the leaders. Both of these guys think, hey, if I can get away from this other one, I could probably run down and start competing for the top 5. But as we get towards halfway, they need to think about doing it here at the Brickyard. As you come up onto the straightaway, Survivor's got enough of a gap that he doesn't have to worry about the slipstream pulling Dirt Rally into him. So he's just going to have to focus on what's in front of him, running about 26 seconds off the leaders at the moment. Back in 8th place, Muttley has fallen back from these guys. Doesn't look like he has damage to the car. And I'm checking out his timings. Best laps in the 123s. Got to wonder if he had an off-track excursion that has him 36 seconds back, but still running in 8th place. Muttley going to try to get that thing up. I'd say he still has a very real shot of the top 5, but he's got to keep that car under him. Looks like we have picked up our first timing penalty. That's on Dirt Rally. Meanwhile, Mark C. and the lone Ferrari in the field, the 68, running back in 9th. And Mark appears to have a problem with the pace here. He has not gotten that car out of the 125s. Might be a difficult track for those Ferraris. Mark has had that Ferrari up to pace pretty well at some of the earlier races this season, but right now just looks like he is struggling with that Ferrari. Still on the lead lap, we've got check-in with the privateer Ford of our South African driver Stoltz. He's running back in 10th. The car a little banged up there on the front end. Don't see it moving, but I can see the bumps and bruises on it. 131 that last time. He's got a best lap also in the 125, so Stoltz still trying to get that thing up to speed. A little bit off the pace of the lead group, but once again, grinding it out. We looked at see him pull that together. He has had some good battles with cars in the back half of the field this season, but I like to see the Ford guys give him a little factory support. Help him get that car up to speed. And Pogo, bad luck for the American driver. He's back in 11th. Lap off the lead, I believe. Let me make sure that that's all it is. Yeah, he's just 1 lap off the lead at the moment. But trying to grind it, hoping somebody else has some mechanical issues or a wreck and he can pick up some points. But either way, just going to try to keep himself alive in the championship heading into Watkins Glen. All right. The front group still pacing the back group, but it's now down from about a second a lap to more like a half a second a lap. That doesn't say much, but it could mean that their tires are starting to wear, car balance is changing. It could mean something. But with a 20-second gap, they've got a lot of cushion to manage with here at the moment. Just Piddlin has led every lap except for the first one. Toasty held the lead on lap 1. Just Piddlin has led ever since that point. We're now working lap 16 here at the Brickyard. And on this hallowed ground for motorsports in the United States and indeed the entire world, these guys putting on a good show here up front. Let's see what their lap times are again, this time by. As those two bets just look smooth, not a scratch on them. Car looks perfect. All right, he's going to bring that thing out onto the front stretch. Let's see if he keeps it in the 123s, 122s, goes 123.6 that time. So maybe a bit of a drop. Let's check out the battle royale. 3, 4, and 5. Let's see what kind of pace they're getting, and if maybe we're starting to see it balance out. We hit 22.5 minutes, so we've got the crossed flags halfway home. Here in the race, likely we'll do about 33, maybe 34 laps. They just ran 123.8, Taijo a 123.2, so now they're starting to equalize those laps of the leaders, but for those first 15 laps or so, those front two cars were in a league of their own. We'll see if that's temporary or not, but this battle for 3, 4, 5 continues. NZ Jack still in third after starting second. Just Pidlin got by him in turn 1, and he has held this third place spot ever since. Cat Guy holding on to 4th, Taijo in 5th. Survivor still hanging on to Dirt Rally back in 7th, but this is the battle. Looking so good. Let's give us the chase cam once again at the tail of this with the Ford GT of Taijo. Said Taijo has got 2 podiums on the season, still looking for that first win of the season. But he has been up there, and right now, you know, you're getting out of the point 21 minutes. Most guys use that 15-minute point as kind of a checking off point, but they're going to want to push. They're now finally running. Oh, look, and we have a change for the lead. As we're looking at that battle, Just Pidlin looks like he had an off 126 on the last lap. And Just Pidlin lost the lead to McToasty. Every time I think they're settled up front, you take a look at where there's close battles going on, something happens. I'm going to guess that was an off-track excursion. Does not look like there's any damage. I don't see anything on there. Maybe the viewers can tell me on the left front. Is that a mark or a logo? No, I think that's just a logo. I think he just had an off-track excursion. But that gives the lead back to McToasty here on lap 18, and these guys are about to go battling for it. So 3, 4, and 5 are going to lose some screen time now as we take a look back at the battle for the lead. And Just Pidlin was able to open up a little gap earlier. Does he have the fastest lap of the race so far? Let's take a look. No, yes he does. But they are also coming up on some lap traffic as well, and that could definitely be a factor as we're inside 20 minutes, working lap 19 here in the Flux Sports Car Championships at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, round 4 of 8 in the 2021 season 3, the 5th season of Flux Championship competition. McToasty patient. Talked about it when he got that win last week in the LMP2s at Long Beach. He got his track position and he just did not make a mistake. He drove very, very smooth, and this might be it. We'll see if Just Pidlin's got anything for him. He's hanging right there with him, still going quick, and I have a feeling that these two are going to decide it. Let's avert our eyes real quick as these three still right on top of each other. That last lap, they lost a little ground. They're just hanging right there at 19 seconds. But this is a fight for the podium and for some very valuable championship points. Cat Guy especially, as I said, after DNFing last week at Long Beach with a motor problem, really would like to get back on the podium and at least match his run at at Daytona. Back up front, they're still at it. And it looks like Dirt Rally got by Survivor for 6th place. He's got a 2-second track penalty to work with, but has now moved up into 6th. We'll have to see if he can get away from Survivor and maybe make a push up to those top 5. But Dirt Rally finally working his way by one way or another. But we've got battles everywhere. Up front, battling for 3rd. Toasty still trying to hang on in that Caporal. We got 2 Corvettes, 3 Corvettes, 4 Corvettes up front. Highest Ford at the moment is Taijo. We get back in the vet here. Just Pidlin's looking at. Currently holding the fastest race lap, 1:22.4. And as the more fuel burns off, you guys might be able to get to that. These tires are pretty durable here in these GTEs, despite the softer compound that Flux mandates for competition. Got to avoid pushing it too hard and getting those track limit penalties here towards the end of the race. That is something that would really, this would not be the time for it, as these guys still got a ways to go. Working lap 21, we're a little short of 2/3 of the way. We expect to see about 33 laps. So we are far from finished here. Just Pidlin taking that Corvette. He's just hanging with him too. These two are definitely going to be going at it, but they've got some lap traffic in front of them that they may have to contend with here at some point. Stoltz is not far ahead of them here. Pidlin moving it again, looking for that slipstream. Get those American drivers like Matosti and just Pidlin. They know how to race on the ovals. They know how to work that draft, and they're working that draft down the front stretch here at the famous Brickyard. But Pidlin still not quite looking to make a move yet. Three amigos still stuck together here from 3, 4, 5. And it looks like Survivor got back by Dirt Rally. Did Dirt have a problem? Have to see what his lap time says, but judging by being 8 seconds in arrears, I'm going to guess that he had some kind of issue on the track again. Falls out of 6th place. We'll see that thing hit the timing line, and we will know for sure. Yeah, loss of 9 seconds, so he definitely had an off there. Muttley's not far behind him. We'll see if that becomes a factor. They head back towards the front, and just Pidlin is right on the rear of Matosti, and he might have even didn't touch him. At least not on our screen, did not see a touch, but he got by him again. And so put just Pidlin back into the lead. Once again off of Matosti. Looks like Matosti overcooked it coming in there. He went a little wide, and then wisely didn't fight too hard, didn't want to start banging each other up too bad. And so now Matosti's going to play the role of the stalker as just Pidlin shoots back to the lead. This guy's hungry, looking for that first career win in any form of Flux competition, but also in the Flux sports cars and the GTE class will be his first win, and he's got Matosti right on his tail still. We'll see if he can pull away and build a gap. The drone operator's wrist has now been rested for a few minutes, and we'll see what we can see from 5th place as Taijo's still involved in that battle. They're coming through 4, now through turn 5, onto the drag strip, try to use a little slipstream. These guys have bogged down at about 20 seconds back from the leaders, although their cars are they're basically equal in speed to the leaders at this point. The combination of the traffic dealing with each other and whatever they didn't have at the very beginning of the race has put them a little out of reach to make any type of move. And with the clock ticking, getting down inside 13 minutes, definitely inside of 10 laps, they're going to start thinking about, now's the time. If I'm going to make a move, I got to make it soon. Go revving that thing up. That cat guy gets a little wide there. Those tires are starting to wear at this point in the race. You're probably cooking the fronts on this car, and it's probably understeer. You can see a little bit of brake locked up right there. A little bit of brake smoke from cat guy. And It may be that these cars have really started to change, the balance has changed, tires have worn, the fuel's burned off. And at this point, Taijo's got to see that, see if we see any more brake lockup from Cat Guy. But at the moment, I think he looks really, really solid. Looks like maybe that was one little thing there, but he's hanging on. You can see the flames from the gear shift. These guys are still going at it. CDN Trooper, good to see you as well. These guys just stuck on each other at the moment. Taijo's got the Ford factory reps hollering in his ear saying, you need to get by these Corvettes. And I'm sure he's looking to do it, but they're meanwhile losing ground again to the leaders. I don't think the leaders are in their sights at this point, though. You see Cat Guy try Jack on the outside. No, not quite. Letting them know he's there, though. Cat Guy's right on him now. He is right on him. Loses it right there, though. May have opened the door for Taijo, and I think Taijo probably just jumped the track. He might have a slowdown coming. Looks to be okay for the time being. Cat Guy made a move, but you got to believe that there's a lot of marbles from the tires offline at this point in the race. You can see the line coming. As a matter of fact, those of you with HD can see them off the line building up right there, and that means to go offline and make a move, it's pretty slick, and that slickness is going to make it very difficult. You can just about catch it in some of these hard braking corners. I assure you the marbles and rubber buildup is there, and it's causing these cars, when you get offline, to slide. You can see it right there through that corner as well. But here's Cat Guy right on Jack, and these two are almost side by side. Jack trying to defend, but it looks like Cat Guy might have the move to the inside. Let's see if he can hold it heading down into turn one. They are side by side coming through turn one, side by side through two. They are still right next to each other. It looks like Cat Guy may have the advantage here on the switchback, and I believe he does. And Cat Guy gets it done once again, coming through a totally separate technical section of the track. Cat Guy makes the pass on NZ Jack. Cat Guy up to third place, Jack back to fourth, and now he's under pressure from Taijo for fourth place as we are inside of 9 minutes to go. Ooh, Taijo, a little bump there on Jack as he comes through the hairpin. A little bit of contact. And a flash of the lights from Jack letting Taijo know that he didn't appreciate that. And it looks like Taijo's letting them back through. Yeah, it looks like they sorted that out for themselves. A little contact on the pass, so no harm, no foul. They'll get right back on it. But in the meanwhile, Cat Guy pulling off. I would say he had made the move of the race, but thus far he's made the top two moves of the race, with one of just Piddlin's passes maybe being up there as well. But right now, Cat Guy's moved up into third. This is a track he has raced at many, many times. Very familiar with the Brickyard in all forms and disciplines and on all the layouts. Jack is right on, and he once again couldn't quite get it done. Race not going his way at the moment. Meanwhile, back up front, inside of 8 minutes, all that waiting and holding and hanging on stuff, being patient is over. Now's the time to go. Inside of 8 minutes, just Piddlin looking for that first career win in the Flux Sports Car Championships. McToasty looking to follow up last week's LMP2 victory, and he is right on his tail at the moment. Got through. No lap traffic immediately in front of him. Right now, Cat Guy's got a little bit of breathing room, but not much. Survivor might be under pressure from Dirt Rally pretty soon, but we're going to stay with the battles up front. working lap 28 now, down to 7 minutes remaining here at the Brickyard. Just piddling, white knuckling it for that first career win, but he's got an accomplished driver behind him in McToasty. Let's get on the cockpit with McToasty and see what he's seeing, see what he's looking to do here. Knows he has maybe 5 laps to go. So where do you push? That's the key thing right here. He's just trying to stay with him. Knows he's got to be there if a mistake is made, but he may be in a position where he has to make it happen now. Just piddling, trying to break the draft a little there. You can see him. McToasty braking early, and what he's trying to do here is get a better run coming off the corner, just like that, so that he can kind of catch him on the next corner. That's a veteran savvy move when you're trailing somebody. You can't brake as late as you want to, so use the acceleration out of the corners to try to give you a shot at the next one. And McToasty's trying to set that up. He's looking for it. He's looking hard, but not quite able to find it just yet. We'll check back in with them. Meanwhile, Cat Guy, he's got Taijo right on his tail as NZ Jack has fallen back a couple seconds from them, appearing to haven't gotten the worst of that battle. But this battle for the podium, a couple of guys who have both been on the podium this season. And Cat Guy has got Taijo all over him. Chevy versus Ford. You got factory reps in the hospitality pavilion here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, banging on the walls to the adjacent. Ooh, and it looks like Taijo might have made the move. Taijo makes the move. Does he have it enough to make it stick through the next switchback? And I think he does. Yes, he does. Great move by Taijo. Maybe Cat Guy's tires, that Corvette power starting to show as Taijo gets by in the Ford back into 3rd place. But Cat Guy, he's not done yet. He's come all the way up from 7th to battle here for the podium. Certainly has had a contender for the drive of the race regardless of where he ends up, but he is going to stay on Taijo now and try to get him. But Taijo, meanwhile, backed up into 3rd, looking for that 3rd podium in 4 races this season. Back up front, it's still just piddling with McToasty right on his tail inside of 4 minutes. These guys know that this race is on the line right now. Look to hope to see McToasty in the LMP2 race and follow to defend his win from last week at Long Beach. But he's already put on a heck of a show for us here tonight. Looks like Taijo has pulled out a little bit of breathing room on Cat Guy. I think Cat Guy's tires might be going on him. Still trying to hang on for 4th place. There's still time to go. He's got Jack not far behind in 5th, and those guys battling for every last point. But the talk of the race here is up front. We've got just piddling, battling McToasty. And these guys have not separated. They've been the class of the field the whole race. They had a little section in the middle where they balanced out a bit with the cars behind them, but now they're right back up to running quickest on the track here at the Brickyard. And this is a tough track to set the cars up for. All these flat turns. It's a very difficult track. The American drivers have obviously here a little bit more experience. Dirt Rally and Survivor battling close, and with Dirt Rally having track limit penalties, he needs to build a gap on Survivor if he wants to hang on to 6th place there. Meanwhile, we'll get back up front. And I would guess with the time on the board, we're looking at 2 more laps to go, just as I suspected 33 is going to be on the board. So we've got 2 more to go for these guys to make a move. Taijo's pulled quite a bit of a lead out now, a few seconds on Cat Guy and Jack. They're going to have, Cat Guy's now fallen back into the clutches of NZ Jack, but uh-oh. And after all that, we have our first DNF of the race, and it's Survivor with a blown motor with less than 2 minutes to go, less than 2 laps to go, and Survivor blows his motor, so we've got him out. Ogo grinding away. He's going to move up from 11th to 9th just by getting that car fixed and out there after Stoltz appeared to have some problems. He's back in 10th place. But we have got 1 more lap to go. They'll be taking the white flag. 1 more to go here. At the line, and that is the starter waving the white flag. We're going to be seeing as they get back onto the oval. Taijo's finally driven away from these guys after he got through them. Shows you what qualifying can do. Maybe he would have had a shot with these 2 if he wasn't stuck back in the field, but he was in fact stuck back in the field, and that is it, the white flag, last lap. Does McToasty have anything for him, or is just Piddlin going to get that first Flux Sports Car Championship win here in the GTEs? This car's got to be on the cords, on the tires at this point. It's been 33 long laps. Back end, fuel tank's low, the back end sliding around a bit. McToasty's got to find the place to make the move, and if he got a slow down there, he's going to be in trouble. It doesn't look like it. Maybe he's got 1 more place and a little bit of brake lock up there from just Piddlin. I think there's 1 more shot here for McToasty. Using all the track right there. Don't want to catch the grass or the rumble strip. Let's see, what does McToasty have? He's going to take it all the way out to the wall. I don't think he's going to have a run at him. Let's see if Piddlin can hang on through these last couple corners. Does McToasty have enough to pull on him and get a bit of a draft? And I don't think it's going to happen. It looks like just Piddlin is going to hang on for his first career win in the Flux Sports Car Championship, followed very closely by McToasty. What a race between these 2. Right from the very beginning, right from the get-go, McToasty was on the pole. Just Piddlin with a great start came up from 3rd and shot his way up to the lead. He led most of the laps, and he is going to bring it home. It looks like Taijo looking to secure that podium, and you got to give him some credit. Those lap times he put up, maybe if he was up with the leaders, he would have had a shot. Nonetheless, he's going to come out with his 3rd podium of the season. Cat Guy bringing it home 4th. Jack not far behind him, but let's go back to our winner, just Piddlin, the American driver, his first career win in the Flux Sports Car Championships, coming here in the GTEs at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This will be a memorable day for him. Flashing the lights at us to acknowledge it. And what a fantastic run. Qualified 3rd, made the first move in turn 1 on NZ Jack, got into 2nd, pulled away a bit with McToasty, and then you just saw 2 veteran drivers go back and forth and wait each other out. And today it was just Piddlin's turn to win the duel, and with it he picks up that first career win in that McCool Corvette. And I think maybe the floodgates might open for this guy. This should put him right back up into the conversation in the championship, but more importantly, it proves that he can win one of these, and that's what winning that first race does for you. All right, so your final results from Season 5 Flux Motorsport Sports Car Championships GTEs at Indianapolis, round 4. Just Piddlin picks up his first career win, also scores the bonus point for the fastest lap, so a fantastic total race for him. McToasty, another great run in second, put on a great show for us. He was also very quick. Taijo shot up through the field to get on the podium. He finishes third. Cat Guy, another solid run from a 7th place start. He's going to bring it home in 4th. Looks like the car fell away a little there at the end. Nonetheless, he ends up in 4th place. NZ Jack from 2nd place falls back to 5th. Looked like he didn't have that car quite how he wanted it today. Nonetheless, he hangs on to get a top 5. Last car on the lead lap is Muttley in the Ford GT. As I said, from the back of the pack, does a fantastic job, keeps the car under him, brings it home in 7th. A lap down, Dirt Rally, or 6th, 7th, Dirt Rally Pro brings it home. That Ford in 7th place. He had an adventurous day. Mark C and the Ferrari is going to come home in 8th, also a lap down. Pogo Mojo, after the damage, drove it back and managed to get it up to 9th place, so kudos for him. And Stoltz rounds out our finishers in the 10th spot. So a fantastic race once again. We want to remind you we are about 43 minutes away from the opening of broadcast and qualifying for the second race in the Flux Sports Car Championships here tonight with the LMP2 classes. So we're going to get you ready. Hope you'll join us there for that. Remind you to check us out at fluxmotorsport.com. This is Carlin Hicks, and I will catch you in the LMP2s shortly. Congratulations again to Just Piddlin. Have a good night. See you soon in the LMP2s.